Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back the 2022 BMW S1000 Single R with a full exhaust system for our very first ride. We're out here at Turtle Rock in the beginning of the week. We are, well, let's talk about why we haven't been out here lately and a little bit of plans and then what's been going on with this thing and what's going to be going on with this thing. Let's get on the road while we can. First thing, that start is just, I love the tune of the start of the BMW S1000s. They just sound so good. And you guys are gonna get your first listen to the Aero exhaust headers and SC Project can, or muffler, I guess you'd call it. It's not much of a muffler, but so we haven't been out on these roads recently. You guys have seen it's been about a month since we released a street ride video, and that's because it is summer here at Lake Berryessa, which means during the weekends the government enforcement is quite heavy. It is very present out here, and as you guys can see from a couple of my last videos, the thumbnails have always had cop cars in them because, well, we've been lucky enough not to get nabbed, except of course my Officer Perez. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll link you to that up above. That's on the HP2 Sport, and God, it wasn't even riding that fast. Dog it. But anyways, the S1000 Single R is off the lift with 3 pretty major modifications. We obviously did the fairing removal. You guys saw that. I hope it was helpful. Then you guys saw that we installed the Evo Tech radiator guards. It's going to be a pretty simple job on this bike. I would say the radiator guards, with probably requiring to take about half of the one side fairing off, should be about an hour job. The headers, a whole different story, baby. We got a couple hours into the headers, and then of course, last but not least, we installed the Brentune, which we're running the Brentune from with the flapper delete, the air filter, the temperature relocation sensor, and then of course it's tuned with the header and the exhaust. Now we have a couple things still in place on the exhaust. I opted to keep the O2 sensors. Those could have been removed, I guess, but scooch by the Harley guy in a respectable area. Down this straight is give him a little quiet pass, because this thing is a screamer. Sir, enjoy the ride. It's beautiful today. We are at 74 degrees. That's my optimal operating temperature. We're at 10:30 on a Monday morning, so hopefully we're not going to come into much traffic. I figured that's why we're going to come out here. So yeah, the summertime with the lake and everything, the law's just out here, and it just is, you know, we're just kind of playing with fire. I know some of you guys really love these rides. I know some of you guys have words for me on these rides, but we try to ride as safe as possible and be respectful as possible out here on the public roads. Sometimes we exceed the speed limit just a little bit, but so the exhaust, the tune, let's talk about this real quick, because first of all, we did not do a block off plate system. That's why you're hearing the crackles and pops. I kind of like it. A lot of people say it's really bad for the bikes, but with these newer ECUs and the adjustments, the block off plate is really just allowing that little bit of air into the exhaust as it lets off the throttle, and gives you that little crackle and pop. The Corvette has a little header leak, and now I have a crackle and pop because when I let off the throttle, it allows air into the exhaust, then fires, then so on and so on. So that's essentially what you're hearing with the crackles and pops. I kind of like it. You know, it really kind of keeps that BMW crackle. So, but the tune, very responsive, very nice. Now, one of the things with Bren Tune that I've done a little bit more research on, and you know, I kind of really feel like they were the S1000 tuners. And one of the things, not to talk bad, I don't want to talk bad, so don't think I'm saying anything bad about Bren Tune, but Bren Tune is really a high horsepower, straight line kind of tune. And well, you know, that's not me. So, you know, they've raised the rev limiter up a few thousand RPMs, which obviously can start to cause some damage when you're up in that RPM range for a long period of time. So I've done a little research and found some people with S1000s that tend to do those smackdowns. They tend to have a little bit more problems with the Bren Tune because of that higher rev limit, and they're sitting in that higher rev limit for a longer time. Now for us, we're kind of through the revs, so that really doesn't apply, but because of that, the tune is okay for our application, but people like Shiv over at Open Flash, and I think UpMap has a little bit more track-oriented style tuning, and so we might be changing the tune on this. We'll see how it goes, but the flapper delete was super easy to do, a little bit intimidating, but about an hour to get into the flapper. And then of course we did the air filter, and we did the air temperature relocation. So we kind of moved it. The air temperature sensor is kind of like right in the middle of the air intake. So, but as far as the tune, you know, the first fire up, what's really nice is we don't have that high rev start, so it doesn't rev up to 2,000 RPMs and then work its way down. It kind of starts at that, I think, about 15 to 12,000 RPMs. So it's kind of a little bit lower RPM start. And I mean, it feels really good and lineal. I think there's still a little flat spot in that 6,000 RPM range. See it right under 6,000. So I think it's more of like 4,000. See right there? And then 6,000, it kicks back up. I think that's just going to be a combination of fueling and sensoring and everything. I think if we got rid of the O2 sensors and really hopped this thing up a little bit more, I think we could get rid of that dip a little bit more. But hopefully we'll get it back on a dyno. If you guys missed the dyno video, this thing stock dyno was 164.33 wheel horsepower. Skip by the dirt pile, give you guys a tiny bit more ride because gonna give us a nice bonus ride on the way back, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, I mean, it's this bike is really starting to surprise me. I will say, you know, on track I really enjoyed it in its completely stock form, and out here on the street, you know, Wagner kind of enjoyed it. Wagner calls it the Raymond Holt of bikes. If you guys know Raymond Holt with Brooklyn 99, you know he's kind of just this, and it's still even tuned. It's not rowdy. It's good. It's got the juice, but it's not rowdy. It's not like dumb, and that's nice. The Ducati, the Street Fighter, holy shit, that thing's kind of dumb, right? That thing is just, it's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother bike. I mean, it's dumb. But this bike is really just a nice, even keel bike. I mean, it puts down the power. I think we're going to be into I honestly think we're going to be into power like the Aprilia Tuono. But what's nice about this bike opposed to the Aprilia Tuono, again, is that bike's just rowdy. It's just, the throttle is just on and off. I mean, this has got a little bit on and off, so, you know, you can see that there. It's got the on and off. But when we get to the delivery of the power, it's just a nice lineal power. It's not like choppy, it's just so smooth. I'm really enjoying this bike, you guys. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my Street Fighter. But, you know, it's just, the Street Fighter's just an angry bike. It's just such an angry little buddy. So, you know, I kind of talked about this in the comparison video. It was a little bit hard to compare that bike to this bike because that bike is obviously tuned, deleted. It's got, you know, 100 or 200 and some horsepower, where this bike at that time of the comparison video, or reference comparison video, you know, it had 164 horsepower. It's completely stock. But with this thing tuned and turned up a bit, it's nice. It's very manageable to ride. Definitely different from the first and second gen. Some people say first gen of the S1000 single R, but there were kind of two gens in that body style because the motor changed obviously for the Euro standards. But you know, getting this out of that big cat in that Euro 5 really has helped. I think we lost something like 15 pounds off the bottom of the bike, which is huge. So, all in all, the first ride, I'm super impressed. Now let's talk about, just real quick, because we're coming up to the end, some future plans for this. It's going back up on the lift. I've got a week worth of work this week, and then I've got to put the SC project on the Ducati Street Fighter. I got oil changes on both of the Ducatis. Bogda's bike is coming out of paint, so you guys are gonna have to see this Ducati Panigale V2. It is so next level. It's so next level, you guys. I may have already released that video. I may just skip ahead, and I know you guys love when I do that in my timeline because you're like, wait a minute. But yeah, it's and then I've got some stuff coming for this. I've got a tail coming for this. I've got rear sets coming for this. I've got a new Olean steering dampener coming for this. If you guys noticed it, I'm sure you guys have commented already. No, I didn't drop the bike. I promise. There's no scuffs. I was walking by the bike when it was on the lift, and my end caught it and snapped off the lever on the end, so I got to get a new one of that. Oh, you guys, I finally found the rear cowl. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about my disappointment with BMW on that in another video. Stay tuned, because we have a lot going on with this. We're going to be ditching the mirrors. We got some bar-in mirrors coming in. Lots going on this. Ducati Street Fighter. Remember, we've got the SC Project exhaust going on for that, so that's coming. The XR. Oh, you guys, the XR full exhaust system going on that. So thank you guys for sticking around. Stay tuned. The very next video that's going to be released is the bonus ride back to Turtle Rock. If you guys are unfamiliar with the bonus ride, you guys got to watch it, because we are about to see what this thing can do. But thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for the support. You new people that are considering an S1000R, you're not going to regret it. You people that talk shit about this bike, don't, because it is an amazing bike. So thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys next video on the way back to Turtle Rock on our bonus ride.